Sweet potatoes are not just a starchy vegetable or a side dish for holiday meals. They are, in fact, one of the most overlooked healing foods on the planet. When consumed strategically, they can activate profound changes in your health, especially if you're over 50 and noticing signs of metabolic slowdown, brain fog, poor sleep, or chronic fatigue. What we now understand through emerging nutritional neuroscience is that certain foods contain compounds that directly influence the way your cells behave, how your brain recovers, and how inflammation is managed inside your body. Sweet potatoes fall into this elite category. They're rich in beta carotene, which the body converts to vitamin A key player in cellular regeneration, immune defense, and hormonal balance. But there's more. Sweet potatoes also contain potassium for electrical signaling in your heart and muscles, B6 for neurotransmitter production, and resistant starch when prepared properly that feeds your gut microbiome and repairs your intestinal lining. Many chronic issues that people assume are unrelated, like leaky gut, poor thyroid function, insulin resistance, or even mood instability, are often driven by deficiencies in micronutrients and an overworked inflammatory system. Sweet potatoes, when eaten correctly, can help address these hidden problems from the inside out. This isn't about trendy diets or eliminating entire food groups. It's about integrating foods that signal repair, but here's the key. How you eat sweet potatoes determines whether they heal or harm. If you fry them, drown them in sugar, or eat them late at night, you're missing the entire protocol. The proper way is to boil the sweet potatoes and then chill them in the fridge for 12 hours. This transforms part of the starch into what's called resistant starch, a prebiotic fiber that bypasses digestion and goes straight to your gut bacteria. The result? Better blood sugar control, stronger gut integrity, and reduced systemic inflammation. Once you've chilled the sweet potato, you add a healthy fat source like extra virgin olive oil, avocado oil, or grass-fed ghee. This fat unlocks the absorption of fat-soluble vitamins, especially beta carotene, making the entire meal more bioavailable. But there's another layer here, timing. Consuming sweet potatoes before sunset taps into your body's natural circadian insulin rhythm. Your body is more insulin sensitive during the earlier part of the day and starts to slow down insulin function in the evening. That means eating starches like sweet potatoes in the morning or early afternoon allows your body to utilize the energy rather than store it as fat. Let's talk about the brain for a moment. Sweet potatoes support dopamine and serotonin production through B6 and carbohydrate-fueled tryptophan transport. These neurotransmitters regulate your mood, motivation, and even your sleep cycle. When you eat sweet potatoes in combination with proteins and healthy fats, you stabilize dopamine release and reduce the crash that so often follows high-sugar meals. This is how you use food to sculpt your mental state, not just your physique. And here's the truth. You don't need to eat large amounts. Just one small or medium sweet potato a day, cooked and paired properly, becomes a biological signal to your body. A signal that says repair, that says balance, that says we are no longer in survival mode, we are in recovery and optimization. When you repeat this signal daily, your body adapts. Inflammation goes down, gut function improves, hormones stabilize, and over time, the results are not just visible in your energy and skin, they're visible in lab work, sleep quality, and overall resilience. This is how healing starts, not through intensity, but through intelligent consistency. And sweet potatoes can be the foundation of that protocol. Sweet potatoes are among the most underestimated healing foods on earth. Their role in reversing chronic health issues goes far beyond their sweet taste or fiber content. When prepared and consumed the right way, they activate multiple systems within the body to promote regeneration, balance hormones, stabilize blood sugar, and even improve mental clarity. What makes sweet potatoes so unique isn't just their nutritional content, it's how their compounds interact with the human nervous system, endocrine system, and gut microbiome. They're loaded with beta carotene, which gets converted into vitamin A, a vital nutrient for cellular turnover, skin health, and immune strength. They also contain B6, a crucial vitamin for neurotransmitter synthesis, and potassium, an essential mineral for muscle recovery, heart rhythm regulation, and nerve transmission. These are not just nutrients. They're tools for your body to recalibrate and heal itself. Now, many people over 50 struggle with hidden health issues they assume are just normal aging. Brain fog, fatigue, poor sleep, joint pain, mood swings, digestive issues. These aren't just random symptoms. They're signals of imbalance, often caused by chronic inflammation, gut dysfunction, and nutritional deficiencies. What's remarkable is how sweet potatoes can support all three of these root causes. But most people cook them in ways that either spike blood sugar or strip away their healing power. The protocol is simple. and it's rooted in how food chemistry interacts with your biology. First, boil the sweet potatoes until soft. This preserves the nutrients. Then, let them chill in the refrigerator for 10, 12 hours. This chilling process converts part of the starch into resistant starch, which bypasses your upper digestive tract and goes straight to the colon, feeding the beneficial bacteria that regulate everything from immunity to mood. Adding a healthy fat source after chilling, like olive oil, grass-fed ghee, or avocado oil, dramatically increases the absorption of beta-carotene. Without this fat, your body struggles to fully utilize the nutrients. Timing also matters. Sweet potatoes are best consumed earlier in the day, before sunset. This timing aligns with your circadian rhythm and insulin sensitivity. In the morning and afternoon, your cells are more receptive to insulin, meaning the carbohydrates from sweet potatoes are more likely to be used for energy rather than stored as fat. Eating them at night, on the other hand, can disrupt glucose metabolism and interfere with sleep quality. This is how strategic timing transforms a simple food into a biological signal for repair and renewal. Beyond the physical effects, sweet potatoes also impact brain chemistry in powerful ways. Carbohydrates like those in sweet potatoes help transport tryptophan across the blood-brain barrier, where it gets converted into serotonin, a neurotransmitter essential for mood regulation, calmness, and deep sleep. When combined with B6, which sweet potatoes naturally provide, this process becomes even more efficient. They also help balance dopamine levels, preventing mood crashes that are common with processed sugar consumption. This means a properly prepared sweet potato can act like a stabilizer for your mental state. People chase supplements and medications for these benefits, but sometimes the answer is right on your plate. And it's not about quantity, it's about consistency. A small sweet potato once a day, properly cooked and paired, can serve as the foundation of a powerful daily ritual. Over time, it can help reverse chronic fatigue, stabilize your hormones, improve digestion, support brain health, and even lead to clearer skin and better sleep. When repeated consistently, this simple habit signals your body that it's safe to heal. The protocol doesn't require willpower. It requires understanding. When you work with your biology instead of against it, even the most basic foods become medicine. Sweet potatoes, when prepared using this exact protocol, can help you regain control of your energy, your clarity, and your long-term health. One bite at a time. Sweet potatoes are not just a source of comfort food. They are a cornerstone of a healing protocol that supports full body wellness, particularly for individuals over 50 who are seeking to restore energy, reduce inflammation, and improve resilience. At their core, sweet potatoes are dense with nutrients that play key roles in vital processes throughout the body. They contain high levels of beta-carotene, a powerful antioxidant that gets converted into vitamin A, which is essential for vision, immunity, and the repair of skin and mucosal tissues. They also deliver vitamin B6, which supports the production of neurotransmitters like serotonin and dopamine, essential compounds for regulating mood, motivation, and sleep quality. Additionally, their potassium content helps regulate fluid balance, nerve signals, and muscle contractions. These nutrients don't act in isolation. When combined in the matrix of whole food, they create a synergistic effect that supports everything from digestive function to cognitive clarity. However, not all sweet potatoes are created equal in how they affect the body, and how they are prepared matters even more. The way most people consume sweet potatoes, baked and topped with sugar, butter, or marshmallows, completely misses the therapeutic potential. If you want to use them to fix hidden health problems, from blood sugar instability to leaky gut, there's a precise protocol you need to follow. First, they must be boiled, not baked or fried. Boiling maintains more nutrients and produces a lower glycemic response, meaning you avoid the rapid spikes and crashes in blood sugar that can lead to fatigue, hunger, and hormonal disruption. Second, after boiling, they should be chilled in the refrigerator for 10 to 12 hours. This is a crucial step. Cooling changes part of the starch into what's known as resistant starch, a form of carbohydrate that resists digestion in the small intestine and acts as a prebiotic, feeding your gut bacteria. The gut microbiome plays a central role in virtually every system of the body: immune function, brain chemistry, metabolism, and even inflammation levels. By increasing resistant starch intake, you help strengthen the intestinal wall, reduce permeability, often called leaky gut, and improve the diversity of beneficial microbes. This leads to improvements in digestion, reduced bloating, better nutrient absorption, and even enhanced mental clarity. Sweet potatoes, when chilled after boiling, become one of the most effective and gentle sources of this therapeutic starch. The third part of the protocol involves adding a healthy fat, such as olive oil, avocado oil, or grass-fed ghee, after chilling. This supports the absorption of fat-soluble vitamins, especially beta-carotene, and slows the digestion of carbohydrates, leading to a more stable blood sugar curve. Timing is the final pillar of the sweet potato protocol. Consuming them earlier in the day, preferably with your first or second meal, leverages your body's natural insulin sensitivity, which peaks during daylight hours. Eating starchy carbohydrates like sweet potatoes at night, when insulin sensitivity declines, increases the chance of fat storage and can interfere with your sleep cycle by disrupting your glucose balance. Instead, having them earlier helps fuel your brain, muscles, and nervous system during the time of day when you're most active. What's remarkable is how such a small shift, boil, chill, add fat, and eat early, can transform this humble food into a targeted nutritional tool. Over time, this habit can support hormonal balance, enhance your mood, stabilize your weight, and decrease chronic inflammation. All of these effects add up to something much more powerful than simply eating healthy. You're signaling your body to shift into a repair state. You're feeding the brain precursors to neurotransmitters. You're giving your microbiome the resistant starch it needs to rebuild. You're using food not for comfort, but for recalibration. When you eat this way consistently, the results are cumulative. Your energy returns, your digestion improves, your mind sharpens, you sleep deeper. This is the power of aligning food timing, preparation, and pairing with your body's natural systems. Sweet potatoes are more than food. They're a daily ritual of healing. Sweet potatoes are often seen as a basic carbohydrate, but when approached strategically, they become one of the most powerful healing tools in nutrition, especially for those over 50. As we age, our systems slow, inflammation builds quietly, and metabolic efficiency declines. The body becomes more sensitive to the quality of what we put into it, not just the quantity. Sweet potatoes offer a unique blend of nutrients that communicate directly with our cells, signaling repair, balance, and optimization. They're loaded with beta-carotene, which the body converts into vitamin A, essential for skin health, immune resilience, and tissue regeneration. They also offer B6 for neurotransmitter production and potassium for electrolyte balance and muscle function. These nutrients don't just support survival, they support thriving. But the power of sweet potatoes is only unlocked when they're consumed using a precise method, what we call the sweet potato protocol. The first step of this protocol is cooking. While baking or frying are popular, they raise the glycemic index and degrade certain nutrients. Instead, boiling is the optimal method. Boiling sweet potatoes keeps their glycemic load low and preserves more of their water-soluble vitamins. But the true transformation occurs after cooking, the cooling process. By chilling the boiled sweet potatoes for 10 to 12 hours in the refrigerator, a portion of the starch is converted into resistant starch, a form of prebiotic fiber that escapes digestion in the small intestine. This resistant starch passes into the colon, where it becomes fuel for beneficial bacteria. In turn, these microbes produce short-chain fatty acids like butyrate, which strengthen the gut lining, reduce inflammation, and influence everything from immune function to brain chemistry. This is why many seemingly unrelated issues, brain fog, chronic fatigue, immune weakness, and joint pain, often trace back to an impaired gut microbiome. Sweet potatoes, when chilled, directly support gut repair. But the protocol doesn't stop there. Once chilled, sweet potatoes must be paired with a high-quality fat source, such as extra virgin olive oil, grass-fed butter, or avocado oil. These fats do more than add flavor. They enable the absorption of fat-soluble nutrients like beta-carotene. Without fat, much of the vitamin A potential is lost. Moreover, fat slows the absorption of carbohydrates, flattening blood sugar spikes and extending energy release. This pairing helps stabilize glucose levels, which is essential for hormonal balance and mental clarity. Timing is the final key element in this protocol. Your body has a built-in clock, your circadian rhythm, that regulates hormone production, metabolic activity, and insulin sensitivity across the day. Studies have shown that insulin sensitivity is higher in the morning and early afternoon and drops off later in the day. This means your body is more capable of efficiently using carbohydrates for energy earlier in the day and more likely to store them as fat if consumed at night. Eating sweet potatoes with your first or second meal rather than dinner works in sync with this rhythm. It helps your body stay metabolically flexible and avoids disruptions in nighttime blood sugar that can interfere with sleep. Together, these four principles, boiling, chilling, fat pairing, and timing, turn sweet potatoes into a therapeutic tool. One small or medium sweet potato, properly prepared, can improve digestion, nourish the brain, regulate mood, and support recovery from chronic inflammation. This isn't a diet trend. It's a protocol rooted in biochemistry and aligned with how your body actually works. What makes it powerful isn't how extreme it is, but how consistent you are with it. Small daily actions signal your body to enter a state of healing. When you combine the nutrient density of sweet potatoes with the science of preparation and timing, you're not just eating, you're sending a message to your brain, your gut, your immune system, and your hormones that it's time to restore balance. Over time, this leads to real, measurable change. Sweet potatoes are more than just a carbohydrate source. They are a targeted tool for cellular restoration, brain support, gut repair, and inflammation control. When eaten using the right protocol, they act like a biological switch that moves your body from a state of breakdown to a state of healing. As we get older, the body becomes more sensitive to nutritional signals. Every bite either feeds dysfunction or feeds repair. Sweet potatoes, when strategically prepared, become one of the most powerful nutritional allies, especially for adults over 50 dealing with hidden metabolic issues, chronic fatigue, or sluggish digestion. This isn't about simply eating healthy. It's about using the right food in the right form at the right time to speak the language of your biology. The first key to unlocking sweet potatoes' healing potential is how they're cooked. Frying or baking raises their glycemic load and diminishes their micronutrient profile. The optimal approach is to boil them until tender, which keeps their blood sugar impact low and preserves their antioxidant compounds. Boiling helps maintain the integrity of beta-carotene, a precursor to vitamin A that supports your immune system, skin regeneration, and eye health. But it doesn't stop there. Once the sweet potatoes are boiled, they must be chilled in the refrigerator for 10 to 12 hours. This single step transforms the structure of the starch molecules into a form known as resistant starch. Unlike typical carbohydrates, resistant starch bypasses digestion in the small intestine and feeds beneficial gut bacteria in the colon. That alone can begin to heal one of the most overlooked sources of poor health, your gut. The gut is the command center of immune defense, mood regulation, and nutrient absorption. When it's inflamed or leaky, it silently affects your entire system. Resistant starch from cooled sweet potatoes supports the growth of beneficial bacteria that create short-chain fatty acids like butyrate, which reinforce the gut lining and reduce systemic inflammation. For individuals struggling with leaky gut, food intolerances, or autoimmune responses, this prebiotic action is a game changer. But in order to make these nutrients available and effective, the third part of the protocol must be followed, pairing with healthy fats. After the chilled sweet potatoes are reheated gently or eaten cold, a drizzle of olive oil, a slice of avocado, or a pat of grass-fed ghee helps enhance the absorption of fat-soluble vitamins, particularly beta-carotene. Without this fat pairing, the body cannot fully access the vitamin A sweet potatoes offer. Additionally, the fat slows glucose absorption, stabilizing blood sugar and preventing energy crashes or insulin spikes. The fourth key element in the protocol is meal timing. Your body runs on a circadian rhythm that determines when your metabolism, hormones, and insulin are most responsive. Consuming sweet potatoes earlier in the day, ideally with breakfast or lunch, aligns with your peak insulin sensitivity. That means your body can use the carbohydrates for fuel, not store them as fat. Eating them at night when insulin sensitivity drops can disrupt glucose balance, lead to nighttime inflammation, and interfere with restorative sleep. Strategic timing makes a major difference, especially if your goal is sustained energy, weight management, or hormonal balance. Lastly, consistency is the fifth and most critical piece. One perfectly prepared sweet potato won't change your life, but a small daily ritual will. When you apply this protocol daily, even in modest quantities, it sends a signal to your body: we are in recovery, not survival. Over time, this steady message helps rewire your metabolism, rebuild the gut lining, reduce chronic inflammation, and optimize brain function. Most people chase intense, short-lived dietary fixes, but deep healing comes through steady signals repeated over time. Sweet potatoes, boiled, chilled, paired with fat, eaten at the right time, and used consistently, create the exact biological environment your body needs to restore health from the inside out.